think that we're going to be seeing a lot of action, which I like no matter the case. But as far as making sure it's not a stomp, it's going to be on space creation.
All right, so getting into game number 2 here between HR and Burden United. HR, of course, just off of a fresh victory up against Burden United in game number 1. Utter domination is a good way to describe that first game by them. Had control of the game starting out from that about 5-minute mark. It felt like you could already see the presence of HR around the map. They are going to be starting this game out with an early 5-man smoke, which has already been popped by Burden United's positioning. A little bit odd where HR trying to perhaps go up this cliff, which isn't completely unheard of, trying to go up this staircase and catch out heroes over here, but Burden United already with the positioning. Sing Sing, of course, sitting here on the staircase, and then come with me also near the runes. Means the smoke is utterly useless there for HR. Bit surprised they didn't go for a sneakier rotation.
This
Speaking
could be good.
Rotation, Goretz, your first blood. Right here, right now. Paris holds him down with a clap, and the last hit going to be claimed by Necroman. So, Burden United, good setup by them, and does manage to catch out the HR. It seemed like they completely read what HR were planning to do there when it came to the 5-man smoke top and at the back. Sing Sing, what are you doing here? He's trying to still like take the bounty rune up against 2. That's not going to work. So they do get the bounty rune for the SF. The bottom bounty rune goes to the Paris Brewmaster, surprisingly enough, instead of the mid Storm Spirit.
I think that Storm's going to have a pretty good time. He already got the first blood, so the bottle timing's already set for him. He's really going to... I mean, it would almost be overkill to get the bounty rune and the first blood. It's like starting off with a null talisman and a bottle. It's a kind of every mid's wet dream, but you kind of want to help the other lanes too. So in this position, the fact is the Storm's still going to have a really great lane for himself, and I still think a lot hinges on how the bottom lane performs. The Ogre is currently rotating up top, and that would imply a solo suicide lane Brewmaster. Pre-patch, I could see it. After his armor and his slow duration were reduced, now I'm like, that's just not going to happen. He really, even with the boots, even with the bounty rune, I think he's going to be sitting on level 2 and 3 for a while.
Yeah, obviously, that Brewmaster is going to be such a key component to Burden United, unless the Storm Spirit just like completely dumps on the middle lane and is able to get a really good start, or even the Phantom Lancer gets a couple of kills in the offlaner. Unless those things happen, the Brewmaster is really going to be, his Blink Dagger timing is going to be so key for getting those initiations, or following up perhaps those initiations of the Storm Spirit, and you know, getting those kind of pickoffs or those team fights started, that they can take some early towers and really get the Phantom Lancer off to a good start. HR have this very deadly mid-game lineup that as soon as they're up, and I would say they should probably reach their, you know, their kind of mid-game start by about 20 minutes. They're just going to roll forward with that. I see like a constant, like a lot of 5-manning, a lot of picking off. Like that Axe is going to be moving around the map looking for those squishy heroes like the Storm Spirit, like the Phantom Lancer, or easy pickoffs for a one-position Axe like HR running. They've got to get a start before that 20-minute mark. They got to really start getting those pickoffs starting about 15 minutes. Get a couple of those, start out with a tier 1 tower, force HR on the defensive a little bit, and not let HR dictate the terms of the tempo of this game as they did with game number 1.
Definitely. I think you got to give the car a bit of a push to get the engine rolling, and I could see Burden United would definitely be able to build up momentum on the back of that, but if they're just stopped completely in their tracks from HR just outplaying them once again, then we're going to see a very similar situation to game 1. I mean, the Storm, I have a lot of confidence in Necroman playing this hero and starting off with this great of a first blood opener, but it still means that he has a lot of obligations to not get caught out by the Shadow Shaman Hex, to use the fact that Dread is right now 285 MS and won't have a blink for a long time, and yeah, otherwise just outplay the Shadow Fiend despite rotations, because I assume that rotations are going to come from HellRaisers, but maybe he can get some support, coordinate well with his allies, and still find a positive CS score in the mid. Top lane's going to be pretty much fine, like Spearbreaker. He's not a hero that directly threatens that lane. He threatens all the other ones once he's beyond level 2 or 3.
All right, with Necroman back in the game, let's finally get, of course, Sing Sing's classic effigy. I'm just scrolling through effigies right now, and of course, Sing Sing's. Poof bitches, get money. Anyway, we're going to be starting off this, well, hold on, we may have some more action here. Burton United almost catch out AFO in a bad position, just not quite fast enough to catch him in that alleyway. So they just throw a little bit of small magic missile damage out. So we finally have our laning phase underway. The 1v1 mid. Oh, another good start for Burton United. They're actually going to be able to get the ward countered out at that top lane. Very nice.
And that came down to the smoke breaking. They saw the smoke break. They had that ward placed by Venge, so they were able to see the ward placed. And now Gotham is kind of blind. They're going to be zoned out pretty hard just by the Ogre alone. And they've got a couple clarities to work with here. One on the Venge, two on the Ogre. So they just want to make sure the Spirit Breaker can't be active elsewhere. And the main thing is to limit his level progression. Less points in the Greater Bash means a weaker roam. And yeah, Minus obviously can dish it out pretty well as he takes it with the 3.3 base HP regen, even not considering the Tangos.
Now, what do you think about this, the interesting change up here for HR? I thought that Axe would at least be jungling for the first 3 or 4 levels, and then, or rather, he would be laning for the first couple of levels and then go to jungle, but it seems like he starts out of the jungle in the very beginning, and Goretz is going to be our farmer for the safe lane. Now, do you think this is the right idea? It feels a little greedy to me.
Yeah, but if they don't roam on the Axe, and who really could, then I think they're going to be perfectly fine with the Axe's progression. Tranquil Boots coming out pretty early, and again, the offlane Brewmaster can't do too much to contest this lane directly, so a bit of greed for sure, but they read the fact that this is a non-traditional offlaner, can only barely trade at range, and it actually works out pretty well. I played Core Earthshaker just yesterday. My teammates hated that, but it turns out to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'll actually go into right-click items because, well, he'll still be going the Blink Dagger first, but as the game goes on, you might just say, okay, well, I can go ahead, pick up an Armlet, and suddenly my Enchant Totem packs a real punch. But for now, it looks like it's going to be a Soul Ring opener for him, and probably just a little bit of a kickstart.
Some stuns out, Aeron, goddamn. But nothing more going to come of it. They don't have Sing Sing, so no chance for a kill. The rotation in middle lane, though, they do kill that Shadow Fiend. So second kill for Burton United already on the board thanks to that quick little haste rune pickup from Paris.
Yeah, just a quick clap and crit coming in from the haste, and that is going to be just enabling the Storm Spirit that much more. They're actually going to get a nice roam onto Gotham once more. He's going the wrong way. He tries to go for the charge, but they stun it immediately, and yeah, he's going to be the third kill. Burton United, they needed to get a little bit of momentum to start things off, and they get a lot more than that.
Oh, certainly. I mean, at this point in time, HellRaisers are kind of being put in the trash can now by Burton United. The exact opposite of what happened in game number 1. Now, Paris is going to be charged here in the bottom lane. It's going to take some time for the Spirit Breaker to get here, but they could bait Paris into a bad position. But I think this is some over-aggression from Goretz and Dread. They're really kind of revealing their hand too early. Maybe Paris puts himself in a bad position, but no, he's already back. He is good enough. I'm not sure if he actually sees Goddamn from earlier. They do not have a Fissure.
He didn't shackles. Dread could have easily gotten the shackles off in that case, but and then gone for the Ether Shock after. But he just went for the shock first, and suddenly that's a non-kill. I really don't know why you go for that skill order unless you think that it's already too dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure why he didn't do that. The charge from the Spirit Breaker is now going to be heading into the middle lane, but at this rate, I mean, got him so low on HP. Do you really want to try for this one? He stuns up Necroman. They're going to get off the first race, second race, hits Necroman. The right click still not enough. They feed away both kills. Burton United just running away with the game now in the first 4 minutes.
This is incredible. I mean, it's good play for Burton United to be sure, but it's a lot of misplays coming from HellRaisers. They feel cocky. They looked at that last game and they just trounced Burton United, and going off of that, you usually look at that as like a morale momentum, but instead they're just being destroyed. Paris taking a lot of hits. Shashkava, he does not have a clap, but Come With Me is here, at least trying to get 1 kill in return. First goes down the Brewmaster. Gorak without mana. It looks like Come With Me will just be able to walk away. In the meantime, it is going to be Spirit Breaker going down again. That's a 4-0 and 1 Storm Spirit, rushing out Treads and double Null Tally. He is suddenly in a full snowball position.
Yeah, it's getting pretty ridiculous now. I don't know. Storm Spirit, this is the kind of dream start you want. 4-0 and 1 by 5 minutes in. He's level 6 already. I'm not sure what the thought process is for goddamn Spirit Breaker. I mean, he's probably, I'm not sure how comfortable he is on the Spirit Breaker. I can't think of the times that HR have run the forward position Spirit Breaker, so he may not have that much practice with it, but he doesn't even wait till level 2 to start roaming around. He starts it nice and early to just dive in too deep, and now he's low enough level that he can easily be cleaned up in the off-lane position as Sing Sing and MyNuts make the dive 1-7 now. As Artez comes in, but it's not going to do anything without a Blink Dagger. Bottom lane, looks like they're going to catch out Dread here. Oh, the block actually is keeping Paris out. The Enchant Totem stunning up Come With Me, who can't get enough right clicks to stop that, and looks like will be chased away. So the charge is coming in, perhaps. Oh, they do get the block off. Come With Me could die here. Paris push back. They do have a TP in for the Storm, and this could end up really bad for HR. They get the 1 kill, but can they actually get out with both heroes intact? Goddamn's going to be cleaned up. Paris also got the Shadow Shaman in the back, and the triple tri-lane gets wrecked. HR, 2-10 now, 6 minutes in. They just do not know when to stop feeding.
Honestly, it's just a problem of over-aggression. They know that Artez is pretty much useless right now. He's going to be farming more than a 1 position. He's just focused on the jungle, PvE Dota entirely, and they just keep on going for the aggressive plays. They don't even have Hex skilled yet on Dread. God, I'm going to go back in. You were asking about his experience on Spirit Breaker. He's played it 4 times competitively, and he's 50% win rate. Might be able to get a kill here on Necroman, but they need everything.
Yeah, they easily clean up that kill. 3-10 now. Jeez. All right, well, at least they get the Storm Spirit. It's something. It's a start for HR. And they're now going to go for the charge on to Come With Me. But they don't have
That's half a level for 3 heroes and 620 gold for the Shadow Fiend. I mean, it's still a pretty big bounce back, and the ball lightning just milliseconds off from the chain stuns. So, yeah, it definitely is the start of something that'll give them a good fight in this game. Dread needs to get level 4, and I think that they'll be in a better position, but what do you go on the Storm in this context just to make sure that you guarantee the momentum that you've acquired already in the lane? It looks like it's going to be the Orchid. Do you feel that there's any risk to that against HellRaisers lineup, or it's just always the right pickup in offensive stance?
Hold up, Sing Sing is going to be charged here. They don't have anything else, though. The Echo Slam wasn't going to be there in time, and they do manage to get themselves away. Meanwhile, at the same time, Axe does get picked off in the bottom lane, as the Brewmaster does pop his ultimate. With the help of Necroman, they get another kill there at bottom. Stun up on MyNuts here in the top lane. Hexed and trying to hit maybe the Echo Slam. Do they go for it here? It's a risky play. Ogre Magi, they decide it's not worth it, or perhaps he's just too tanky. They do not pop the ultimate for that kill. I don't know. I mean, at this point in time with the game, the way this is rolling on, I would say pop every ability you can for any kill, but they decide against it. Artist coming to the bottom lane, looking for the call, doesn't go for it, is defending this tier 1 tower, trying to make sure it doesn't fall, but he's going to be overrun unless he gets extra TPs out, gets the call into Paris, bringing him low, can't quite get the chop just yet. Paris 1 step ahead of him, and now Necroman may get the kill. He's going to be hexed up. Artez turn around, but no, he only has enough right clicks. Does he go for the chop on Necroman? He's trying to chase him around a little bit. Paris is sitting on the side as well, waiting around, goes for Dread. They do get the big kill onto Axe, and Dread can do nothing about Paris just walking away. Afo's running him his way in, but he's not going to be able to stop this either. HR, man, they are just playing so sloppy here in game number 2.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they wanted that deny badly just to try to stop some of the gold gains from Burning United, but in the end, you just lose the only person that was doing well this game. Right now, Axe is at 2,200 net worth. Shadowfiend's not doing that bad. 4,600, he'll have his mech, but it's still a hero that you can gank pretty easily when you commit, I'd say, 3 and a jump. But yeah, I mean, in this spot, we do have, of course, the Midas coming out on Brewmaster. It's kind of like a why not situation. You have that much momentum. Come With Me gonna take a stun. Artez with the taunt. They are gonna get the first dunk of the game here on to Come With Me.
And hopefully get that Blink Dagger a little bit sooner as HR desperately need that. I mean, they do have their ultimates finally coming up. That's another big thing. Getting that kill will help the Spirit Breaker finally get his ultimate, which is pretty important for being able to lock down these heroes like the Phantom Lancer and the Storm Spirit. But also the Blink Dagger going to be so critical for HR to make a comeback in this game. So if they can get the Blink Dagger up by about 15 minutes, I still say they have a decent shot at coming back into this game. And Afo is keeping pretty farmed. I mean, he's not ahead of the Storm Spirit, but as an SF usually does, he's remaining in the top 2.
Yep, so right now, I mean, even just remaining status quo, Sing-Sing's going to get a lot of farm here. He's got his Vladimirs going on, coming out from couriers, so he's in the jungle, on the towers, anywhere he wants to be, he's pushing and getting momentum. Minot's going to be dropping, not even going to need the Culling Blade as it does get stunned out, but giving a lot of unnecessary kills could be, I mean, the reversal of what we saw for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's now Burden United pretty much just like why is the Ogre Magi that far forward up against the Spirit Breaker? I mean, they weren't even like really pushing an objective anywhere else. Top lane, they've got a light push, but it isn't too heavy. It's not like a tower was going to be imminent of falling. So you show yourself in the bottom lane that far forward as a support. It's not surprising that you're going to be charged like that. So they just kind of feed away the Ogre Magi. He does end up dying the top lane. As I said, it was a little bit of light push. Goretz here is perhaps playing a bit too far forward. He does have a magic wand charge, and he can get enough mana for a Fissure or perhaps an Echo Slam, but they don't want to go for that. They don't nearly have the strength to do something like that. Goretz is still going to be caught, though. Can't believe he showed his face after seeing 3 heroes up here in the top lane. Now, with My Nuts coming in, they're going to be able to get the stuns necessary to get the kill on that carry. Earthshaker, the TPs. Whoa, 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 whoa. Goddamn, where are you going? Oh, you knew those TPs were going to be canceled. I mean, I'm looking at it as a spectator going, there's no way those are being completed, right? And goddamn just charges in like they're all going to be completed like that. And feeds away yet another kill. The Burden United.
Yeah, he really just wants to lead the charge, but in this case, they don't have a Blink Dagger to shift you for Artez. Like, if they have a Blink, that's a different TP, but with it, you're guaranteed to be locked in that position. They're going to be waiting with their stuns, and 3 versus 4 would not be a good exchange of forces. Either way, Alpha Ninja in the mid lane with the mechanism. It looks like they're going to be posturing towards him. They've got a lot of points in Wave of Terror here, so it's not going to be as quick burst, but if they get the right position, they could still find that kill. Either way, smoking up towards the top lane. Gorak is who they want to go on.
2-man smoke ready to go. I mean, shutting down this Earthshaker is so important. They kind of missed the Wave of Terror there. Will it make a difference? They get the multicast anyway. They don't actually go for the kill, though. And now, goddamn's going to be able to counter that active aggression. Swap goes out. Come with me. Will save himself from the charge for a second, but still going to be blown up by the Earthshaker. And if goddamn the gun in range, he could have gotten the ultimate on My Nuts. He's still trying to chase for it, but he's got no backup. So that is not a kill to be had. Afo will find himself the bounty rune and refill up his bottle. They do get that nice pickup. Again, some Burden United kind of getting too far ahead of themselves, kind of jumping the gun in the aggression there. The Vengeful Spirit and the Ogre Magi looking for a kill on the Earthshaker, so close to that tier 2. Again, you're just begging to be counter-initiated like that.
Definitely. And now we got the Blink Dagger coming out for Artez. It's going to be stuns on him, but this guy has so much HP. With the Earn Magic Wand, he's going to be able to take it up. Come with me, throwing the Magic Missile, but Fissured out. My Nuts has nowhere to go.
My Nuts pushed back and gets another pick off there. Artez does have Necroman coming behind him with the invisibility. Swap on the Goretz. Nice play with Come With Me, but the charge will still connect, and they have Artez ready to go with the call if necessary, but it doesn't seem like it is. Afo will get the kill on another, as Necroman searches for an opening here in this HR defense, but with full 5-man cluster of heroes, there's not much a Storm Spirit can really do about it. This is kind of the strength that we kind of expected out of HR, is that once they start 5-manning, the Storm Spirit and the heroes like the Phantom Lancer won't be able to find too many openings to get the pickoffs they usually like to pursue.
Yeah, the Radiant Observer will catch out Necroman, but whether or not they can close that distance with Dread is a completely different story. The Fissure, okay, he's not going to be able to ball lightning in time, and they're actually going to get all their stuns off. Necroman does buy his Orchid, so he won't be losing much, but he will be giving a lot over to Afro Ninja, the now dominating Shadow Fiend. And suddenly, he's the top of the net worth by 1,500, and everybody else is catching up nicely.
Yeah, this is actually pretty crazy. Like the amount of kills that Burden United were claiming in the first 10 minutes of this game, I was like, Jesus, they're just going to be jumping down to about a 4,000. Like, easily, I was looking at 7 to 8K by 15 minutes, but now it's jumped right back into the favor of HR, both in gold and experience. A large part of this, of course, being the kills that Burden United have kind of fed back to HR, but also the SF keeping up his farm quite handedly. Now, goddamn, he's going to be kind of counting the charge, not going to do much in the middle lane. He just takes some damage. Fortunately, the Spirit Breaker is so naturally tanky. He's going to be able to turn on My Nuts, and now with Artez making the jump in, they're going to be able to get both of these heroes potentially as they finish off the Ogremon Giant. Now looking for the next one on Come With Me. Goretz, though, is going to be falling to... No, he actually doesn't get the kill. Necroman! Oh, he walked away too soon! You called it early, and now he's going to pay for it. No, he still gets a kill on the Earthshaker. Goretz, I'm not sure why he's stuck around now. Appo's going to be the next target. Doesn't have the ultimate, so he's got nothing to defend himself, and Burden United just kind of roll over the HR and to showcase the strength of the Storm Spirit there, who finally comes in with his first big item.
Yeah, exactly. Going in, getting the momentum they need back in this game, they're actually going to take a nice sum of experience. 930 on their 3 core heroes. That's a lot of levels going their way, and it's going to move them past this, like, that level 11 trench. Like, all 3 heroes right now are level 11, and that's the, for those that don't know, that's the longest experience dropout for levels, just because essentially you're the ones that the earlier level 7 and 8 turns into a longer level 12 attempt, but they get a huge boost to moving on in their levels, and they're even going to go for Roche here. With the Vladimir's offering, it's not too difficult. The illusions don't do anything, but they've got the damage.
Yeah, they certainly are going to be able to clean up a free Roshan and Aegis to the Storm Spirit, which means just extra diving potential. You can easily just suicide yourself for a pick-off on one of those cores. Especially here, like the SF is probably the most critical one. Affo still maintaining a pretty decent net worth lead over most of these heroes. 10k on him, man. Affo, if HR managed to pull out a win in this game, it's going to be off the back of him. Burden United certainly made their fair share of mistakes, but Affo has kept his game pretty damn clean, considering how far Burden United had such an early kill lead. Goddamn is trying to farm up the jungle a little bit. We also have Goretz trying to finish off his Blink Dagger. He's got 1700 gold on him right now. Once they get both those blinks, they are going to be looking a lot better for these team fights. They'll finally have the kind of initiation to burst down the Storm Spirit nice and quick, so if Goretz is sitting on the back just waiting for Necroman to make that first jump, the counter initiation of the Earthshaker easily kills Necroman.
Yeah, definitely. If they can get the lockdown they need. We'll see what item Necroman picks up next, though. Like, the most snowballing item I can think of for Storm Spirit, other than the Orchid, is the Bloodstone. So, with the momentum he had, he could have followed Orchid into Bloodstone and just keep building up those charges, get the raw HP you need. But in this case, I think he might follow through with a BKB, just because the Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman are giving him so much trouble now. So, we'll have to see exactly what is in store, if they can actually burst him down before he gets his next item. For now, he's farming pretty securely up top, but he's always ready for a fight. He's got the Aegis, he's got the TP. Who do you think really wants to actually have a catalyst for action at this point in time? I mean, obviously, HR don't have as great of a late game draft, but they're in a pretty good position where they could just kind of spread the map if they want to.
I would say it's Burden United want to be able to continue this kind of split push style. Well, middle lane, they're going to catch My Nuts. The counter initiation compares is there. Necroman also here, but they do have a significant amount of burst damage coming out from Affo. Trying to deal with Necroman. They do get that one kill. Goretz, though, pops the Echo Slam at the last second and results in getting nothing out of that one. And now with the second life here of the Storm Spirit jumping in late. Oh, pushback there from Goddamn. They're going to be able to lock down Come With Me, and they do actually get the kill onto Necroman. Thought he was going to be able to jump away. The stuns last just long enough, and now Come With Me run down by Goddamn. The fight turn against Burden United so heavily. Paris is going to be the next one caught. It's just kill after kill, and somehow HR managed to, I can't say it any other way, outplay that last team fight on Burden United. I mean, Burden United should have had every single opportunity there, especially with the Aegis on Storm Spirit, to win that fight, and yet HR still come out the superior force.
It wasn't just an Aegis on Storm Spirit, it was a regen rune too. Like, there was so much potential for the Storm to just run all over that fight. A little bit of control from the Brewmaster and you're all set, but he just couldn't get the ball of lightning off. He went for this kind of squishy build that can do a lot, but it's not taking off. It's 5v5, and it's actually going to be Sixing dodging with the Doppelganger and going right under Korek with the Phantom Rush. Now he's got some good distance, and Artez out of mana will just go for the TP. Stun, swap, anything? No.
They are going to have to jump on the Goddamn. They may be able to get that kill. Necroman now pops the regen rune, manages to stop Goddamn's click, and will keep the regen rune alive. 14 to 20 now as Burden United strike back. getting a couple of pick-ons there. HR really set that one up really well. It's just Sing Sing didn't take the bait. I'm not sure if he just was kind of like forcing the Earthshaker to go on him or what, but they were having Artez sitting here waiting for Sing Sing to try and doppelgang up the cliff, and I'm not sure if Sing Sing somehow knew they didn't have vision. But if he somehow knew what was happening there and just sat in the pit anyway, forcing the Earthshaker to come to him, but man, he doppelganged at just the perfect time. Right as Artez goes, you know what, fine, I'm going to jump in. Sing Sing is going to doppelgang out here. They do get a nice two-man Fisher. The tier 2 drops a little bit low, but it's really HR who are going to be the ones on the aggressive here as My Nuts. I think they're just going to leave him to die. Eventually, one of these Blink
they have to feed somebody. Somebody is dying here. They just have to make the choice who's going to be playing this, making the sacrificial play. But they're going to go back in and try to fight it. Gorak will go down Quake, but the Echo Slam, like, no, nothing pass. He gets crushed, and now the stuns are coming in. Jackals onto the Brewmaster. Great usage of the Requiem, and they're not going to be able to get the split. Oh, just barely. Now the dunks come through. My Nuts taking some real hits here, but another dunk, and the Spirits can't do anything. They're on the run. Come With Me drops down, and they're pinging out the Earth Spirit, looking to turn this into a 4-man swing. If they could just get the control, the blink out, the stun, Paris will be able to escape for now, and it looks like back to the fountain for him.
Nice control there from Paris, getting that last stun. You can see Artez. He knows Paris is low. He's still hunting for him, and he may actually get him here. The Battle Hunger goes out. If he can get the call, no, doesn't quite get it. And now Paris kind of playing game. Storm Spirit's going to be able to stop Artez's TP out. The charge is still out from Goddamn, and he can actually get the kill on Paris with the, well, he's just going to try and chase him down. Necroman does get stalled up underneath the wards. Chase around the tower, ring around the Rosie. Goddamn, you got to catch up to him eventually. He can't get it. He's now going to be stunned underneath the tower. Paris dies eventually, but Goddamn will pay for that deadly childhood game with his own life. He ends up falling to the Ogre Magi's right clicks. At the same time, though, man, Dread coming in at the perfect time there to lock down that Storm Spirit underneath the wards and get that kill. That was the more important one. Who cares about the Spirit Breaker for the Brewmaster there? Not a big deal to pick off, though, on the Storm. Well worth the investment of resources for HR.
Definitely. I mean, just being able to pin down the Storm Spirit, kill him off again. He's died so many times this game. I mean, just 4, but those are all critical kills with how much he had on his shoulders this game. And I got to go back to that pick, and the question is, momentum builder or momentum secure? Orchid versus Bloodstone. That's my mindset there. Is one of them is going to make it so that you don't feed that advantage back the other way, and one of them gives you the chance to build that advantage more with those solo pickoffs. But you look at HellRaisers lineup, and with those Blink Daggers, they're happy to go for 5-man plays. And in that, I don't feel the Orchid is as strong. We've seen Storm Spirit just get one disable against him, and it turns into bringing him from 100 health to 0. So I definitely think that the defensive play could have been a consideration. Soon enough, we'll have the Orchid BKB, and he'll be in a pretty good spot. But with the amount of deaths he's had recently, it's going to be actually a little while, despite his KDA.
All right, well, we'll see a little bit of a pause here. Let's take a look at the net worth chart, shall we? We do have experience-wise, HR are up by just a small little 2K bump, and same goes in gold, actually. So HR are slightly ahead, but considering the start out for Burden United, HR definitely looking much better than I would say that 2K lead says. They are in a sort of dominating position right now. They are able to be the tempo controllers. They can start being the ones pushing down these towers. In fact, they've taken almost every single tier 2. It's just that bottom tier 2 that's left. And once you get that last one, if you're able to kind of maintain some pretty good ward vision up, this could be the next Roshan going into the favor of HR, which is probably going to be in another 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the timing that this Dire Observer Ward in the Radiant Jungle Central is going to be expiring, so that they're going to be focused on that. There is a Western Ward, which we'll keep an eye on them for quite some time, but I don't know if Burden United at this point can start diving Radiant side. I mean, they've taken some heavy losses, they've lost a lot of momentum, and you just got to think, okay, maybe we just spread it out. That question I asked you before was essentially who has more reason to fight, and yeah, I agree Burden United have the ability to farm faster and to take it to the late game further, but HellRaisers, they were up against an Aegis, still took the fight, and it seems like against all odds, they're still taking really good engagements, bringing down the Storm quick, dealing with the Brewmaster split despite the lack of BKBs, and yeah, overall, just doing really well this game when it comes down to fight execution.
Yeah, I think just generally speaking, I think it both plays to their draft, but also like mindset, right? Going into these games, if you start losing control of the game, like you get an early lead and all of a sudden you start feeding away kills and stuff, I think it plays to your advantage to slow the game down a little bit. Yeah. Like basically the fast pace of this game, Burton United kind of got swept up in it, and all of a sudden we're feeding away some kills they shouldn't have, they're out of position, they're going for fights that they shouldn't be fighting, and then they start losing more and more ground up against HR. I really think it's on them to start slowing this game down a little bit, try and go for some split push. Yeah, if, you know, HR want to go ahead and commit 4 heroes to stop the Phantom Lancer split push, you know, Phantom Lancer's going to die, that's going to happen, but it's going to create a lot of room for your other heroes to work around. I think it's really up to Burn United to try and force HR to split up a little bit and deal with their split pushing heroes. That way the Storm Spirit has those openings to get the single kills.
Like, I smoked under ward.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I thought that ward would be just expiring and be pretty useless, but those last 30 seconds make it an easy scout play. So they're going to be able to spread it out, and they're going to get some more wards up themselves. It's cooling down now in the shop, so with 1 ward right now and come with me, and 2 in stock, where do you want a ward to make take that defensive stance?
At this point in time, you're looking to secure your jungle, I think, for Burn United, which obviously right now not possible with 4 different heroes smoked up inside of it, but I would say like even buying an early gem for Burn United is not a terrible idea, and just going as a 5-man crew, clearing out your jungle to make sure there's no vision there, getting some of your own vision up, because the worst thing you can do, right, is place defensive wards and have them being seen by the offensive wards of HR and have them immediately countered out. So just clear through some vision, like just try and set up some areas where you know that HR do not have vision of, and then from there, go ahead and maybe get a Roche board as well, if possible, and then just have, you know, Storm Spirit in the middle lane. You've got a Brewmaster pushing down bottom and a Phantom Lancer pushing up top. They've got TPs ready to go. They've got this tier 2 up. They can go ahead and respond to any attempts at Roshan. You know, if they figure out, hey, HR missing for a while, looks like maybe they smoked up into the Roshan pit, then they can go ahead and try and contest. But for the time being, there's no need to force these fights. It looks like they may try and go for a pick off on the bottom lane, but this 2-man smoke, already one of the supports has given up on it, and looks like Come With Me may also give up on the smoke gank. He's got his TP in. And
charge. This actually could be interrupted. No, it's not going to commit to it. And well, actually, it's the Storm Spirit TPing back, so the charge will go right back up where Spirit Breaker wants to be, because they're pushing top lane.
Yeah, this is why these supports needed a backup. They can't afford to leave too much room to a Shadow Shaman getting close to their base. This is kind of perfect for them. I mean, they cost them a glyph, but they don't take any tower damage, and they clean up the whole set of wards. That's the last thing you want to be doing as a Shadow Shaman.
Bottom though.
Yeah.
TP will be interrupted by the call, and that looks like it's going to be a kill even with all these topples.
Yeah, goddamn, just doesn't stop the charge. Sing Sing cleaned up. Artez gets him with the Culling Blade. Very excellent pickoff. And well worth the movement there from HR. They went from kind of securing a good amount of control in middle and top, and then kind of doing this mass TP and charge back to bottom lane. But because they got Sing Sing, right, it's all kind of worth it for them. Before I was talking about how, you know, Burton United need to split up, and they do kind of need to force HR to constantly TP back like this, just because they need some time, I think. They need some time to farm up the Phantom Lancer, Brewmaster, and Storm Spirit late game a little bit better. I mean, you look at HR's lineup, they have some heroes that do significantly fall off going past the 45-minute marker. So if they can just make sure that HR is too focused on getting the kills and not really worrying about the objectives, I think Burton United can still make the comeback, but they are rapidly giving up too many pickoffs. And it seems like HR are going to get to a point where they easily clean up Roshan and then just march uphill with that Aegis in hand.
Yeah, we're going to see the Scotty coming out for the Shadow King pretty soon, and an item that I really like, actually, on the Spirit Breakers under assault here. He's going to get swapped, stunned, and the call, actually, he should live. The Inner Shadows won't heal him up, but...
wait, what? Whoa! Oh, all right.
But he was under distress. I mean, he just barely survived a gank from the Storm Spirit. Just barely got out of dodge there. I can understand why he wasn't exactly sure what his teammates were telling him to charge.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward. Could have been a free pickoff on the Vengeful Spirit, but as is, still good rotation from Artez getting there in time in order to stop that. Another thing of Serpent Wards here is going to go to waste. His Dread is also going to be picked off by Necromant's nice long dive, and that wasn't even with vision. He just blind jumped that one and does catch the Shatter Shaman in the process. So they clean up Serpent Wards, get the kill on Dread, and now setting up for Roshan. I mean, they don't have the best map control in the world right now, but they may just have enough to claim Roshan with this 4 versus 5 advantage.
Depends on Goretz entirely. I mean, the Earthshaker could do wonders in the pit here, but it's going down pretty quick, and they're charging into it.
Goddamn, the first on the scene here wants to be able to draw the attention. Artez comes in, but the Orchid already stopped him. He couldn't get off really. Oh, no! They're going to be able to get the Doppelganger away. The Echo Slam goes out, but it's still not enough. Sing Sing already positioned to dodge all that damage, and Burn United just clean up there. HR couldn't really get the initiation they were really searching for. No Culling Blade hits due to the Orchid from Necroman onto that Axe. And even though he did get a nice call, it's still, without that chop, they couldn't really finish that up, and especially with the Earthshaker coming in a bit late there. Didn't see what happened to him and why he was stalled up, but
the Earthshaker actually got insta-uled by My Nuts. The control brought from Burden United there was incredible. The Orchid on Axe and that Yules onto the Earthshaker. It prevented the Echo Slam until the split had already come through and people were forcing out of the pit. Would have gone from like a 5-hero Echo into just like 2 or 3 and a couple of creeps on top. But yeah, the delay there of that control from the Earthshaker really changed the fight entirely. And I gotta give props to the Orchid usage and that of the Yules.
So, big pickup there for Burn United. Definitely what you wanted to see. If you're a fan of Sing Sing and the crew, that getting that 1 kill and then getting a good team fight inside the Roshan pit, Aegis, I mean, those are the kind of game-changing plays that will place Burn United now in the driver's seat of this game, I think. I think they can actually be the ones pushing out now that they have that Aegis. I mean, it's just such a huge advantage for a Storm Spirit to be able to fearlessly dive heroes like here in the middle lane. The Spirit Breaker, who's the tankiest of them all, man. Spirit Breaker at 2k HP. Necroman couldn't even commit to that kill.
And he's going to get tankier too. His item on the courier has been for a while now the point booster. He's going for the Aghanim Scepter. So a very spammable ultimate, only 20-second cooldown, bit of an AoE on it, and even increased range. It's a really powerful utility, but he's been delayed in it multiple times. I think he's died twice since he bought that point booster, so really hard for him to finish it out. Either way, he survives that gank, so it should be coming here in just the 300 gold. In the meantime, Invisible Goretz stocking things up.
Yeah, this could be so perfect for HR, especially if he can get the 2-man Echo Slam. It's not up just yet. He's going to have to Fissure and Enchant Totem to keep Necroman there. And now the challenge, they should be able to get the call immediately. Artez does judge it perfectly. They pop the Echo Slam to make sure that Storm Spirit definitely does not get out. And they get those 2 kills. So the Aegis as well as the Storm Spirit death. Good pickoff for HR due to a little bit of lucky rune for them.
Yep, and I mean, I think it's worth it to double it up there just to make sure that if one of them is off time slightly, and they were talking about lag earlier, if that comes into play at all, you want to make sure that you secure this kill. So I think the Echo Slam and the call is a good way to double that up, and they're not under pressure of like a big push coming in from Burden United. So I don't know if the Echo cooldown is even going to be that problematic to lose for the moment at least. But we've got some push play down bottom, very secure here with just the Axe to cover Apodinje. I actually don't see Burden United defending this tower even with the glyph.
Dire's bottom tower
and got him. He's got that level 3 Nether Strike. Now with the Aghanim Scepter, he's 2300 HP. And that's just Strength Treads, Urn, Drums, and now an Aghanims. It's not even like he's got a real big and 12 armor as well. Like, that's another thing about it. He has such high armor and even has a decent amount of growth to that. This charge is perfect. He's just going to run into Come With Me. He's like, oh, hello, free kill. As he should be able to run down Come With Me. He's going to try and force staff and TP out, but the Fissure stops him just in time. And now Come With Me, trapped like a rat.
Yeah. Just slow and pink death, hitting him with a spoon, but yeah, they take care of him. This is the second time in a row Artez is like trees.
He's having some issues, man. He's having some issues with his Blink Dagger, and it almost got him killed there. Like, if they happen to see him through the gap in the trees or something like that, and Dread in some trouble does manage to hex up My Nuts. Arts Also going to blink out, but now going to be spotted by Paris and Sing Sing. They should be able to get this kill too with the defusal ripping through him. It's just so hard, and it's why he definitely needs that BKB pretty badly. And like, Shiva's is nice, but I think he's got to go BKB after that. In fact, I'm really surprised he went for Shiva's first.
Yeah, I mean, I also like the Crimson Guard against like the Brewlings and all the Phantom Lancer illusions, so there's a lot of items he could go, but Shiva's BKB seems to be the tool that'll allow him to commit to every single fight, which is pretty important.
I mean, that mana burn is just such a huge part of the Phantom Lancer's damage.
And I actually think that for that reason, he should consider focusing the Spirit Breaker in the beginning of the fight. So the fact that this is a 20-second cooldown ultimate on Nether Strike, it actually seems like a decent idea that he could just jump Spirit Lance and rush over to the Spirit Breaker, hit him for like 4 or 5 seconds on a fight, and then just walk away from him. And out of mana Spirit Breaker is only providing the aura and the bash, and I think that by kind of neutering the Nether Strike, he could make his team fight much more secure. But in either case, whether it's just focusing on the easiest kill target or if he's going for that utility, he's going to be feeling a lot better about himself come late game. Like he's still about to pick up the Scotty. He actually goes for the BOTs now, and Scotty will have to wait for a little bit longer.
Even Goretz is going for BKB. Bit surprising, would have assumed, you know, Force Staff. Obviously, Force Staff doesn't really get you that much distance away from the Phantom rushing Phantom Lancer. So it's kind of understandable that the Earthshaker goes BKB, but it's just so standard in everybody's mind. You know, Blink and Force Staff kind of the go-to items, but he forgoes that for a BKB, and probably the same thing for our Spirit Breaker next. Afo definitely needs a Butterfly, as that will add in so much extra survivability, seeing as neither one of these heroes really wants to get an early MKB. So that evasion will definitely come into play big time for the SF.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's going to be lots of smokes out here. It looks like one is going to break down, but we're going to see Burning United just charge right down the middle lane past the creep wave here, and should put them in a pretty good position to at least get one kill at the onset. They've got ward vision, see people where they're at, roaming around. If they just go to the Western Radiant jungle, it's the easiest pick, but they saw the movement north. That's what they're going to fall through on, and Aphrodinge should go down quick.
Yeah, no TPs, no nothing. Afo's dead. So they give up that one kill. The charge is coming out from the Spirit Breaker. Doubt he will complete that one. They just gotta give it up at this point. They say, okay, 5-man smoke, you gotta pick off. Congratulations. You'll probably get a tier 2 out of that, seeing as the long death timer on the SF plays heavily against HellRaisers at this point. But for now, it's not too big of a loss. They need to focus more on controlling the Roshan pit for this next fight.
Yeah, Axe and Earthshaker farming against each other. One wants the Shivas as quickly as possible. The other needs to finish that BKB. Critical items that are just barely outside of range as far as those recipes go. But either way, they're going to kind of fall back. Dread can maybe go for an annoying Mass Circle Wards right down the mid lane to kind of force some ATP back. But I think Burn United could really look to commit. I mean, they know that Shadow Fiend isn't going to want to buy back sub 20 seconds. So if they jump in around the timing that their creep wave is pushing in, then yeah, even if the Shadow Fiend had buyback, he wouldn't want to use it here.
Yeah, it's so hard for Dread. Like, he's trying to make that, like, do I push in? Because, like, the moment the Storm Spirit jumps in, TP's in, like, you are so close to being dead. In fact, the quick TP out, no! The Yules. My nuts is there. And Dread will end up dying. Top lane, they will get everyone out. It looks like Sing Sing with his illusions on these heroes should be able to stay ahead. Maybe Goretz. Man, it's just illusions just like staying on Goretz and making sure these blink daggers don't actually go out. Now even the doppelganger. But he's seeing Sing Sing for a second here. Now with the charge coming in, they may actually get Sing Sing. He's got a doppelgang though.
He's
and the rest of his team.
Too. Look at the entire swarm of Burning United just rushing into his assistance. And Goretz is cut out. There's no way you can save him. And everybody just has to fall back here. That's 2 losses, and the tier 3 took just a minor amount of damage. I mean, taking 600, 700, but they're getting more. They actually got the stun out on ice.
Yeah, he tried to go for the call on Necroman, I think, but now he's going to end up dying, and oh dear, HR.
Is that Rax?
I think so. I mean, without the buyback on either one of those melee initiators, how does HR actually fight this? I mean, if it was one of them was up, you could see, oh yeah, the potential is there. You can easily play defense, but the Spirit Breaker isn't that kind of quick surprise initiation that wins a fight.
Yeah, like if the big thing was beforehand, they had to worry about the echo slam, so they were really worried about pushing like this with all these units clumped up. They only had the Brewmaster on the high ground, but now it's like another strike is the worst case AoE damage scenario. So they just take the racks and walk out. No casualties whatsoever, and it's because HR just didn't know how to disengage.
HR. I mean, this game has definitely been one throw back and forth. I mean, these two teams just trying to play so aggressively against each other, kind of get caught multiple times and feed away the advantage that they had built. You could see that kind of from the net worth graph of even the early game, just bounce up and down, and finally goes up in HellRaisers' favor all the way up until about that 27-minute mark, and I would say they were even still ahead about that 30-minute mark, even though it was slightly in the favor of Burn United. It felt like there was a lot more momentum to HR, and then now just the recent, ever since that Aegis fight, really, that it's been heavily in the favor of Burn United, and that net worth is just dropping lower and lower to Burn.
So at this point, like, Sing Sing is going to be moving in towards 6th slot. He still has power treads that he has to sell, and he's going to finish out the Scotty. And probably going to upgrade the Vladimirs to a Satanic, presumably, as his last item. Lifesteal pretty important for him. Does he go for the Monkey King Bar as his 6th item after that?
I really don't think it's necessary. I mean, the Shadow Fiend isn't really that big of a threat. Once you're really tanky on the Phantom Lancer, is the SF really that scary to you? I mean, you just have so many illusions on the board. He can't clear through them. He's single target when it comes to his right clicks. He pops that ultimate, and yeah, you'll take some damage on your main hero, but you'll just doppelgang again. Okay. And
so butterfly yourself then?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just increase your sustainability as a Phantom Lancer, and you'll be perfectly fine. Bottom lane, goddamn, is going to be caught here. They smoked up, man. I really thought they were going to be looking, you know, I was going to classify it as a desperation smoke, essentially, for HR, and yet they're still the ones who lose a hero.
Jeez. I mean, they finished BKB and Chivas. They're moving forward in items, but at what cost? They're just losing time. They needed to end this game come about the 40-minute mark, maybe 45 if they were doing good, and now we see that they're on their last legs. With one lane of racks down, it gets harder and harder. The lane pressure continues to push in. Their economy is in distress, and Sing Sing's just gotten huge. This is the game that he wanted, game 1, but he's gotten so many better supports to do it with. Like, MyNuts has been so involved this game. Sure, he was really trying to make something happen with that Enigma, getting all that farm, getting the BKB, but what we didn't see that game is what we're seeing here. The Ogre really just making things happen, getting some good control in the fights. The Yules has been on point, and they just bought time where Sing Sing got to build up the item build that he wanted to.
Well, the butterfly that we were talking about, it feels like probably 10 minutes ago, is now complete for AFO, though I'm pretty sure it's just a day late and $1 short, but we'll see. HR kind of spread themselves out pretty heavy here up against the Storm Spirit, who is, oh, they do actually see him right now thanks to this ward, so maybe that's a big reason why they're so split up and they feel comfortable farming, but they do need to be careful when doing this, is whether it's the Storm Spirit or potentially even now the Ogre Magi and Vengeful Spirit. At this rate, MyNuts is going to have an Aghanims in with that potential lucky double multicast coming into play. You could easily burst down some of these other heroes, maybe not the Spirit Breaker, but some of the others like perhaps the Earthshaker.
Yeah. Now we've got the AC up on Shoshkova as well, so with the Brewmaster emanating that aura even when he has gone through a split, Sing Sing does so much damage. But we're going to see the jump attempt again onto Gotham, and he does pop the aura, so that's giving him 400 movement speed, even under Drunken Haze, and he will be able to narrowly skirt out of that one. So another potential pickoff, but the mana isn't just there for Necroman. If he had a Hex, which he is working towards, then he certainly would have been able to finish the job, either with the Disable or just the mana it provides.
22 to 32, it's finally hitting that 40-minute mark. 12,000 experience lead, and over that in gold. Man, Burn United, what a drastic change in just about the 5-minute period. Of around the 32-minute mark, I think, was where that first Roshan fight occurred, and then just the continual drop downwards to the favor of Burden as they got more and more pickoffs and better fights. Scythe of Ice, now Aghanims. Yeah, the big late game items for Burden finishing up.
Suddenly an extra disable on both those heroes and potential for more multicasts. Yeah, mana management's gonna be fine for the Ogre because he went for regen items first. Like, he's got the Soul Ring and the Yules, so he's still gonna be able to actually get Fire Blast as well as Unrefined out in the fight, even 10 or 15 seconds into that engagement. So that's, yeah, Ogre's gonna have a lot of mana to work with here, and everything's just looking downhill for HellRaisers. The Sig Phantom Lancer is getting huge, dishing out a lot of damage, and the initiation has been for pretty much the past 10 minutes in favor of Burden United. That map control was purchased by Come With Me earlier. It looks like, did that get turned over in the last fight? Okay, so Axe has a Gem of True Sight that was picked up by Dread. Oh, it's in the base here. Okay, so they're just kind of using it when they need it, and otherwise leaving it in reserve.
HR, I think this is really the only play that they have, is just hoping that Burden United make a bad positioning error when they push uphill. Like, I don't see the same kind of potential for HR to win a fight unless it's inside their own base. So I think this is their only play, which is play defense, wait for the positioning mistake by Burden United, try and capitalize on that as best as possible, and then push in and see if you can't end the game or at least cripple Burden United somehow. But it seems that Burden United are playing this very patiently. They're waiting it out. They just got the tier 2 middle lane, but they're not trying to push in just yet. They can still farm up a little bit more items and still wait for that next Aegis if they really wanted to.
Sure. I definitely think they have so much late game that that's not going to be an issue whatsoever. Could even get like a refresher orb on the Brewmaster or even more aura items if he wants. Necro's got the Aegis for another minute, and we'll just probably go for a pickoff play onto the Axe, who's all by himself at the moment. Yeah,
chasing down My Nuts all by his lonesome, but doesn't actually commit to that. Really surprised that Necroman doesn't make the jump soon.
No risk. I mean, no reason to take the risk. Right now, they just can keep on pushing out the lanes and go in for... They don't technically have to force high ground until it's a 5v4. I don't know if that's how they want to play it, but at the very least, they seem confident to just play a slow game and let HR make the first move.
2,400 gold on the Brewmaster. I kind of like the Abyssal build, personally, on Brewmaster. I think he actually makes like a pretty decent semi-carry at that point in time when you already have the AC. So like sell Midas for an Abyssal Blade, and you're hitting fast enough with that AC. Bottom lane jump, they are gonna grab, got him, and it looks like this is gonna be a free kill. They won't really be punished. Chicken turn in. Oh, nice Echo Slam laid down. They're going to be able to take the first leg. Necroman actually survives with the Aegis for the time being, but it's already got him down. The Earthshaker forced to buy back. Artez, who's trying to get that call, is not going to be able to get Come With Me. He's already out. Their Tornado on Apple has kept him out of the engagement for so long, but they're finally going to be able to lock down Sing Sing. They do get that kill just barely. Come With Me unable to save him with the Force Staff there. My Nuts is now going to try and outrun the Scotty. Come With Me this time does get the Force Staff to save his ally, and it forced a buyback there from the Earthshaker, but they do end up repelling Burden United. The problem is they didn't get anything else. They got the one kill on the Phantom Lancer, and that's it.
Yeah, the cheese is really the only thing that they commit long term, and the XP swing is moderate, but it's not going to be like changing the state of affairs. So yeah, in this position, I really love that Echo Slam from Goretz. He actually even tried to get the kill onto Sashkavilla in his retreat, but misses the Fisher going the other way. I definitely think that there's a lot of potential for that semi-carry Brew, but it looks like he's still going for auras. He's got the Shiva's Guard components, so that's what we're going to be seeing most likely. And yeah, it's pretty much just that last Roche away. Do you think there's a potential for HellRaisers to invade this next Roche if they at least scout out the timer at 3 spawning?
I think they have to. I think they don't have any other choice but having Roshan fights and base fights. Those are the two fights where you have potential for plays like that Earthshaker Echo Slam. I think every other engagement is going to be too hard to play around, because in the open field, even if like you're trying to be the aggressors or whatever, it's Storm Spirit taking a big advantage out of the widespread area that you're utilizing. Same goes with the Phantom Lancer. I think you're not going to see those opportunities for those big AoE controlling abilities such as the Nether Strike Echo Slam and the oh god. Yeah, he kills the creep and stops that TP out. Good thing he got the last hit before the stuns came in.
Most certainly. But at this point, it looks like the Dark Side are just kind of willing to roam around right now. A big thing for HellRaisers supports right now is to use that Geometry Sight to clear out all the wards, because since they are still out of smoke for another minute or so, the best way to get to the pit is just by having a clear True Sight set to make sure that you're not being watched the entire time. Because we've got a ward in mid, we've got a ward on the plateau. They need to actually have the gem in a position to clear that out, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like Burden United, if they are able to invade once again before the Roche respawns, as they should be able to since they have had throughout the past 20 minutes a better team fight, then they can kind of get a nice web of vision around the pit.
Our Phantom Monster is going to be going for the MKB. He's got enough to buy it straight up right now, but obviously wants to make sure he has buyback so he doesn't throw the game. But that will be coming up in a second here, dealing with the Butterfly of the SF, and of course a Butterfly for the PL. Not quite an option when Afo's got his MKB in hand. So, middle lane, just charge out to get to the creep wave. Really doubt that Goddamn is going to be looking for a pick-off. Even with him and 2 other people, I don't think it's going to go well for you, just because the Storm Spirit is such a big factor, and he's able to make big leaps like this one on the Goddamn lead with the Sight device, and easily the right clicks will clean up that cow. Turned into a stake there. Make a kill streak now for the Necroman. They do get Art. Oh, no. They get the Hex action. They may still kill Necroman, but never mind. The swap comes in. Paris, they need to control. Make sure he doesn't get off that ultimate, but it goes down. And no, the fight without being able to lock down a hero on that Echo Slam. I don't see how it's going to go the way of HR. They get off a good ultimate for Afo, but it does a minimal amount of magic damage. Necroman pulls in Afo, and they have Sing Sing on the right side of that fissure to be able to easily clean up Afo. And now with that, SF down. Without a buyback, I don't think HR come back from this game. Dread gonna be the secondary cleanup here. Stun once, stun twice. Artist is coming in. Perhaps they can kill Sing Sing. They get a 3-man call, but no, the Hex goes down. And now Artist can't get the Culling Blade off in time. Sing Sing will make sure to just walk himself away. And the Shivas couldn't quite get Necroman there. And BU will survive.
He just needed to keep spinning and stay alive a little bit longer to bring down 2 or 3 members of Burden, but the Hex, the Control came back off cooldown, and in the end, look at all the cooldowns exhausted. I mean, they don't have their Mad Serpent wards for pit engagement, even if they get respawns. They buyback when the Axe is down, so he's down for a full minute. It's just, even if this wasn't a max Roche respawn, which of course it is, like, HR just can't fight. They can't deal with it, and that was just a very chaotic fight, of course, with all the illusions flying about, but a really good swap from Come With Me, saving the Storm, allowing them to get back and then get back into it, and from there, they're still controlling the map really nicely. I think that was kind of HR's last hurrah.
Yeah.
That's probably the closest you're going to get to a successful fight for them.
I mean, for them, they had to be able to lock down things. The most unfortunate part there was that swap, really good swap by Come With Me, where they were set into a position where the only play that they actually had was like, okay, the Phantom Lancer is out, he's been swapped out, there's no way we can lock him down. So instead, we try and lock down the Brewmaster. And the moment the Brewmaster is tanky enough to survive through those stuns and get off the ultimate, the fight is pretty much lost. I mean, they still almost got a couple of kills on Burden United. So many of those heroes dropped really, really low. The problem was, that's the thing. Burden United, once those stands are down, they can really play the kiting game really well with their heroes. Phantom Lancer, Storm Spirit, even Brewmaster to some regard, can all play that kiting game really well going into the late game. So Burden United were just able to keep pretty much all their HP up. And unfortunately, HR lose yet another fight. Going into the 15-minute mark, Burden United just need to clean up Roshan, get the Aegis, and should be able to claim victory. But we'll see what happens here. They're inside the pit with 2. If they can lock down Sing Sing, they get the call on to 2. The lock here. Necroman comes in trying to stop these disables in order to make sure the Phantom Lancer does manage to get out with the Doppelganger. Now he's surrounding Afo with the MKB, but it's too much magic damage. Gored hits a huge Echo Slam that beats Sing Sing's face in. Get a secondary kill. The buybacks are coming out, but this is the riskiest part. They're going to lose their Brewmaster here if Burden United overextend themselves. Oh. Brewmaster, no, he got out with the Storm Panda.
But Sing Sing just BOT'd to it.
Oh dear, they're actually going to be able to fight this one. Goretz is already down. Afo now fighting for his life up against so many heroes. Goretz, oh, he's dead. Artist is down as well. This is going to be HR. They had one final stand around the Roshan pit, but that is it. No buybacks except for the Spirit Breaker. Roshan going to Burden United. And with even top lane pushing into the tier 4 towers, it doesn't get much grimmer than this.
Yeah, just the BOT play onto the Sword Panda, Sig-Sang at the right place at the right time. It was still a very ballsy initiation, but they knew that they had enough heroes jumping in with the Storm Spirit getting his mana back. So now they have everything they need to finish the job here. Most heroes down for 50 seconds. And, I mean, what the hell with this game? So many throws back and forth for the first 20 minutes, but now it's just been a very slow roll towards a victory for Burden United. Sig-Sang's Phantom Lancer really showing its power, and Burden cinching the win.
Yeah, both teams, I have to say, like, I think they both cleaned up their game a lot going into the mid to late game there. And but that early game was one hell of a back and forth, like, just crazy aggression, pick-off feed fest, essentially what it was. And HR, despite the fact that they did kind of claw their way back into the game after such a rough start, they end up still losing game number 2 to Burden United. So this series will end in a draw 1-1. We do have another series though. We're going to take a short break. When we come back though, because we're actually already behind schedule, when we come back we will have HR versus BBC is going